Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be attempting a coding challenge from Codewell. So Codewell is a website that has a collection of coding challenges, and we are going to begin at the bottom with Spence landing page. So the website is codewell.cc/challenges, and then I'm just going to click on this. It's going to take us to an inner page where we can download the starter files. Now I have the starter files downloaded just so that I can look at the structure in preparation for the video. And once you download it, it's going to download into a zip file like this. And when you extract it, it is going to extract into this folder for Windows, as well as this folder for Apple, for Mac OS. So if you're on an Apple computer, then this is the folder that you're going to use, I guess. And if you're on Windows, then you can use this folder. So I'm going to right click on this folder, and then I'm going to say open with code, which is going to open up an instance of Visual Studio Code into that folder. And then once it opens up, you can see that we have the assets folder, and then we have the design folder as well. So the design folder has the tablet view, the mobile view, and the desktop view. And then the assets folder has all the images that we're going to need for this project. And then in the README, you can take a look, and it just has all of this. So that's looking nice. This is the font that we are going to use. And this is how to submit your solution. This is the Slack community. And then this is how to deploy it, how to deploy a website. You can also use Vercel, which is not here. And yeah, that looks nice. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to open up the design, and I'm going to open up the desktop view so that we can look at the desktop view. And this is how it looks. So it begins with some kind of notice on top, and then it has the header, and then the hero section looking nice, and then this section, and then that, and then finally this part, and then the footer. And then this is the mobile version. So the mobile version has this on top. It has this icon, it has the image, it has the logo. So just stacked one on top of the other. So that's looking nice. That is looking nice. So we can begin. Oh, this is the tablet version. This is the tablet. Nice. So what I'm going to do therefore is this. I am going to begin by creating an index.html file, index.html, and then I want to rename this to a smaller d, a smaller letters, and this should be called assets with a small letter a. It's just easier for me to see them. I don't know, it's just preference, I guess. Now once I've created the index.html file, I also want to create the index.css file, which is going to house all our CSS. And then I'm just going to say exclamation and enter, which is going to generate this boilerplate for me because I am using Emmet. And then I'm going to change this into Spence landing page. And then for the body, let me just return an h1 that says hello world, like so. And then I'm going to be using an extension that is called live server. So right here, and what it does is it allows me to launch a local development server on my machine, which supports hot reloading, which basically means that every time that I make a change here, it automatically reloads in the browser without having me to manually go and click on the reload button every time. So it's pretty nice to have, and you can have it if you want, and you cannot have it if you don't want it. So inside here, let me just remember to link my CSS file, so index.css, and then we can begin. So let me right click on this and say open with live server. And so once it opens up, you can see that this is what you have on the screen because that is the only thing that we are rendering. Now let me just remember what font we need from the README. We need this font, so it is called Cabin. And for the Cabin font, where's the design? Oh, did I close the design? So let's go into fonts.google.com, and then let me check. So we need a bold font. This is about, I guess, 600 or 700, and then we need the regular 400. So okay, now look at this. This is a bold font of 500. This is a regular font of 400, and then this is about 700. So those are the fonts that we're going to be taking. Now let me search for cabin, and cabin is right here. Let me take the regular 400. Where's the regular 400? Let me take the medium 500. Let me take the bold 700. And then inside here, I don't want this font. I only want the cabin font, correct? And then I'm going to use the import tab here, and then I'm going to select this part, copy, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it inside my CSS on top. And then I want to reset some bit of style, so I'm going to use my universal selector, and then I'm going to say reset the margin to 0, the padding to 0, and the box sizing to border box. And then I want everything as well, so font family, to have a font family called cabin with the fallback of sans serif. And so the reason why I've placed this inside here is so that it also applies to inputs and to buttons and to things like text areas as well, because they don't usually take up the default font family of the body. Now the body is going to have the following. Let me see. The body doesn't have any kind of default styles, or at least I can't see any of them right now. But the paragraphs, I want the paragraphs to have a line height of about 1.8, just to separate out the lines just a bit so that they are a bit more readable. And then once we have that, then let's just save it. And then let's go inside our index HTML, and then let's remove the h1. Let us return a div with a class of container. Now this div with the class of container is going to house all of this. So let me remove this, and then let me turn a header element. Now this header element is going to be for the top part. So this top part, probably I should build this out first, but I can build out the header. It's no worry. So for the header, we're going to have a div with a class of logo, and then inside here we're going to have an image which is coming from /assets / I think it is called logo. Is it? What is it called? Let me see. Assets. There's no logo. There's no Spence logo here. I guess they just want us to use the font, therefore. I guess they just want us to use the font. So let me remove this image. Let me say Spence, and it has a full stop. Yes. And then below this, and probably what you can do to make this better is change this into a link so that when someone clicks it, it takes you back to the home page. So what you can do is just href this to go into index.html, and then add this inside here. And then below this, we're going to have a UL with 3 list items, so L items 3, and they're going to be anchor tags. They're going to be hashtags because they're not linking to any page within this website, because we don't have multiple pages for this website. So the first one says business, the second one says pricing, and the third one says features. And of course, if you wanted to link this to multiple pages, what you can do is, for example, if you want this to link to features, you can create a file called features.html, and then for the href here, you just link it into features.html, and then when you click on this, it's going to take you to the correct page. But since we're not linking any pages, we just set it to a hashtag. And then below this, finally, we can create another UL with 2 list items, L items 2, which are going to be buttons. And the first one says login, and then the second one says get started. Now I know that this is the nav bar, so let me cut it out and place it inside a nav element, just so that we can be semantically correct. Now once we have that, then I'm going to save this, and then what is going to appear on the screen is this. Now I want to build this out. I want to not build it out, sorry, but I want to style it out so that we can style it out step by step. So I'm going to place this to the left. This can remain there, and then I'm going to place this to the right, or rather, I'm mixing my directions. And let me do this. Let's go inside our index CSS, and then let's go inside the header element. Let's give it a padding of 20 pixels all around. Or not, let me use rem because the default rem value is 16 pixels. So let me say 1.25 rem, which is 20 pixels. Which is going to push all of this inwards. And I've just noticed I want the list items to not have these bullets. So I'm going to say list style type, and I'm going to set this to none. Okay, that's looking nice. So inside here on the header, I also want to say the following. I want to say display flex, which is going to align items in draw form by default. and then align at the center, which is going to bring them downwards to be centered. What is it called? Vertically centered. And then I'm going to say justify content to space between, which is going to take the three elements and place some equal like space between them, so that they take up the full width of the device, so that if I increase this, then they're always going to take up the full width. That's looking okay. And then now what we need to do is the following. I want to go inside the anchor tags and say text decoration none, and then the color is going to be, I need this color, and I'm just going to like use my own judgment because I can't really get the correct color from this. So I'm going to use an almost black color, and I'm going to say hashtag 222. And you know what? This should apply on the body so that it applies to every other element. Now let me do this. Let me cut this out. And then above this, let me say that for the body, that the color is going to be this, meaning this text is going to apply for everything in the body. And then for the anchor tags here, I'm going to say for the color, set it to inherit, which is going to inherit the color of the body. So that's looking nice. And then now let's go inside the div with the class of logo, and then let's go inside the anchor tag, which is our logo here. Let's say font weight, make it to be semi-bold, which is going to take 500. 500. That's too small. Let's say 600. There's no 600. Wait, did I I guess 600 will do. I guess 600 is the semi-bold. What was I thinking about? And then below this, let's increase the font size to 1.5 rem, which is 24 pixels, just evaluating it in your head. And let me see, let's go inside the nav element and then the UL, which is our list items here. And then for this, we can say display flex. And I've just realized that this is probably not going to show on mobile, so let me remove it. Rather than styling it, I can just say for the nav element, then display none, which is going to hide it on mobile. And then I can go inside this third div. Let me close this. So this third div, this third UL, I'm going to give it a class of buttons, just so that I can target it. So I'm going to say for the class of buttons, then display flex, which is going to place this side by side, and then align item center and justify content to the center, and then add a gap of about 1.5 rem just to separate this out a bit. And then for the buttons, I'm going to say that for the buttons, I want this first button that is called login. So I'm going to call this, give this a class of login. And then this second one, for this second one, I want to check, I think this button is reused in multiple places. Oh, it's only in 2 places. This is an image, so this doesn't count. So this is in 2 places only. So I'm just going to create a custom class called btn-primary and then save it. And then right here, I'm going to say that for the login button, what do we need? Nothing actually. It just needs to be transparent. So I'm going to say this. You know what? Let me go above this and then let me style all the button elements. Now, every element that is called a button, I want to say background color and set it to transparent. And then I want to remove the border, so border none. And then the outline that it has on mobile, I also want to set it to none. And then save it. There we go. So that now inside the login, I can begin to say give it a padding of about 1.25 rem on the top and bottom, and 2 rem on the left and right. And you know what? I'm actually doing this for the wrong button. I need this to be on the btn-primary, so that I can go inside here and give it a background color of hashtag 000, which is black. Remove this, then push it upwards, and then give it a text color. So text color, so color, set it to white, hashtag white. What am I doing here? Okay, this is a bit too big, so let me say 1 rem. And then let me check what else. It needs to be bold, and then it has a rounded edge. So let's say font weight, set it to 600, and then let's say that border radius is going to be about 0.625 rem, which is 10 pixels. That's too much. Let's say 0.5. That's looking okay. That's looking okay. And then for all the buttons, I want all the buttons to have a cursor of pointer. which means when you hover over them, then the cursor is going to change to a pointer, and you can see it looking nice. And then something else that I've just noticed, buttons usually have a smaller font size than everything else. So what I want to do here is right here, I'm going to say that for the font size, it is going to be 1 rem, which is going to increase them just a bit. Looking fantastic. And that is our header. Now what we need to do is we need to create this top part. For the top part, we're going to do the following, and I'm going to go back here, and then above it, I'm going to create a div with a class of notice. And then below this, we're just going to have this text that says, to celebrate Spence's launch, to celebrate Spence's launch, we'll be waiving all fees. Okay, let me reduce this a bit. Can't see it. Okay, let me just trying to optimize it. So we will be waiving all fees for the month of April. You will be receiving 100% of earnings. Now on Windows, what you can do to insert an emoji is Windows key and full stop, which should bring up this thingy, and then I can search for what's it called, celebrate. Where's that emoji? This one. Can't believe I wasn't seeing it. So just copy this and paste it here as well, so that you can insert this and this. And then notice how this part is underlined. What you can do is you can just grab it and place it inside a span, which you can then style differently. And that is what I'm going to do. So let's save it. Let's go inside the class of notice, so above the header. So for the class of notice, we're going to give it a background color of black, not white, and then a text color of white, and then we're going to give it a padding of 0.5 rem all round. And then for the class of notice, I want to go inside the span and give it a text decoration of underline, which is going to give it an underlined border, and we're going to have that. Would you look at that? And then we will need to change this font to bold. Let me change here. Why is this font? You know what? Let me just do it here. Font weight. Change it to bold. Actually, bold is not going to work all that well. Actually, it does work well. It does work well. Maybe not. Let's use 600. And then let's also say text align and set it to center, which is going to bring this to the center. Fantastic. Looking nice. And we're going to have that. And this is a bit too small. It is a bit too small for the padding. So let me say padding of 0.5 rem on the top and bottom. And actually, what did I use? I used 1.5 rem all around here. So 1.5 rem actually does look a bit big, by the way. But let me say this. Let me say we're going to use 1.25 rem on the left and right, but on the top and bottom, we're going to say 1 rem. How does that look? I think that's much better. That is much better. So let's take this back here, and then let's begin to build out our thingy, which is the hero section. Now for the hero section, you're going to realize that in the assets, we are provided with the desktop image. What? Mockup tablet. What images are these? What images are these? Okay, so this is the mockup. So this is not what we want. We want the hero image, desktop, the mobile, and the tablet. So we are provided with the corresponding image for the different screen sizes. Now what we're going to do is, you can do it in CSS by toggling the images, but I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is below the header, I'm going to create an element that is called main. Now main is going to house everything that is remaining inside here. And then inside the main element, we're going to be creating different sections. So the first section, I'm going to call it showcase, or you know what, let me call it hero, because the images are also called hero. And then inside the hero section, we're going to have 2 articles or 2 divs, depending on what you want to use. So the first one is going to be housing this text, and then the second one is going to be the image. So you're going to do this. The first div is going to have an h1 that says share your unfiltered thoughts, and then below this we're going to have some text. Oh my god, Oh my god, do I have to type this text? Okay, so Spence is an online platform, open platform. Oh my god, why is my computer platform for individuals to share their unfiltered thoughts, for individuals to share their unfiltered thoughts. Full stop. Discuss the topics you love and get paid for doing just that. So discuss the topics you love and get paid for doing. And then notice how this is italic, so you can say emphasize. So em tag means emphasize, and then say just that. Another thing that you can do is just say I means italic, but I prefer to use em for emphasize. And then below this paragraph we have 3 ULs which have this check mark. So we're going to do a UL with 3 list items, and then each of these list items is going to have an image, so img. Now the source for this is going to come from /assets/checkmark.svg, and then let me just copy this, actually this part, copy and paste it here and here. And then the text for this says receive 99% of earnings, receive 99% of the earnings, full stop. Oops. And then this one says get paid via debit card, ACH, or PayPal. And then withdraw your earnings anytime. So withdraw your earnings anytime. This is an R. There you go, with a full stop. Okay. And then once we have that, then we have this form. So we have this form that says john@example.com and then get started. So below this UL, we're going to have a form with no action. And then below this, we're going to have an input with a type of email, with the name of email and an ID of email, with placeholder that says john@example.com. And then we're going to set this to required for some HTML5 validation. And then after this, we're going to have a button with a type of submit. For the submit button, it's going to have a class name of btn primary, which we already styled. And then it's going to say get started. There we go. So save it. And then let's see what we have on the screen. We have this. Okay. So now what you need to do is add the second image, or sorry, not add the second image, but add the image. So below this div, we're going to create another div, and then we're going to use what is called the picture tag. So picture, and the picture tag takes in a source media. It takes in a source tag, and the source tag takes in the media attribute and the source set attribute. So in the media attribute, you can define widths to which you want certain images to apply. So for example, for a mean width of about 768 pixels, meaning tablet size, then I want the image to be showing the tablet image. So I'm going to say /assets/ what's it called? Hero image tablet. So it's called hero image and then tablet.png. Is that correct? .png? Yes. Okay. And then what you need to do next is, after you define the first source or the last one, then below it you also need to define the default image that it is going to fall back to in case these ones fail to load, or just in case maybe you are not reaching the width that you have defined inside here. So here I'm going to give it a source of /assets/ not checkmark, but it should be hero image mobile. So the mobile image, because we are building mobile first, so the mobile image is always the one that is going to show first of all, and then it's going to calculate whether you're on tablet or desktop, and then it's going to show the corresponding image. Now here we need to add the desktop image, so just copy it down, and the desktop image I'm going to start showing it from 1280 pixels, and then change this to desktop. So now when I save this, now look at this. we have, this is the mobile image showing, and then when we increase this to right around, I did something wrong. Let me first fix the images. Let's go above the body here. Let's say that for all the images, they're going to have a max width of 100% so that they don't overflow outside of the container. And I did something wrong. Let me check. So image for a min width 768 pixels, this one shows. Then for a min width 1280 pixels, this one shows. I guess, assets, hero image. Okay, so you know what? This should be working, but I can't tell whether it is switching to the correct images or not. I can't really tell. But let's begin to style it out just to see. We're going to find out whether it is switching the images in a few moments. So let us go inside inside this class of hero. So let's go below this. And then let's say that for the class of hero, then we want the padding to be about, let me say, 3 rem is 48 pixels. So 2 rem is 32 pixels on the top and bottom, and then 1 rem on the left and right. I used 1.25 rem on the header. So here I want to reduce this to 1 rem. And then here as well, I can reduce this entire thing to 1 rem, so it is 1 rem all around. I think that is much better in terms of handling everything so that I don't have to use decimals every time. And then let me go inside the hero H1 and increase its size. So font size, set this to about 2 rem. Set the margin bottom to 1 rem. And then let's go inside the hero paragraph. Let's set the color for this to hashtag 444, which is a very slight gray. Set the margin bottom to 1 rem. And then here we will need to set the font size. Sorry, not here, it is on the UL. So I can say that for the hero UL, which are these 3 list items, then I'm going to say, actually not for the UL, sorry, but for the UL list items, which is the image and then the text, I'm going to say display flex, which is going to break them just a bit, and then align item center, and then give them a gap of about 0.5 rem, just to separate them out just a bit. And then we can go inside the hero UL, and you know what? Not even the hero UL, we can just give it a margin bottom here of 0.5 rem to separate them out as well. So that's looking okay. And then let's go back to the hero UL, and then give it a margin bottom of 1 rem to separate it out from this form. And then let's go inside the form, and then let's get the input. And then I want the same padding that I had on the button, which is this one. So copy this and then just paste it here. And then let's set the font size to 1 rem. There we go. And then let's give it a border radius of about, what did I use on the button? I used 0.5 rem. So border radius here 0.5 rem. And then I want to remove the default border. So border none, and then outline none as well. And you know, actually that's not true. I need the border. I need a slight border. So border here, instead of setting it to none, I'm going to set it to 1 pixel solid and hashtag 444. So that we're going to have that. And then let me go inside the form and give it a margin bottom of about 1 rem to separate it out from this. Or you know what, let me say 2 rem. And you know, we're going to be displaying this as a grid. So rather than putting a margin bottom on the form, I'll do it when we place everything inside a grid. And now, is this text centered on mobile? Is it centered on mobile? No, it is not centered. It is placed to the left, and so is every other text. Okay, so that's okay. Now what we can do is this. We can go inside the section. So the section is the one that has the class of hero, and what I can say is display this as a grid, and then grid template columns to repeat once and 1 fractional column, and then add a grid gap of about 1 rem, or you know what, let me say 2 rem, to separate this out so that you don't have to keep on doing it by yourself. That is looking nice. And now what you need to do is just scale this up to make it look better on tablet and then on mobile. So on tablet, now look at what happens here. Oh, wait a minute, the image comes first. I've just noticed that. So the image comes first. So here, instead of saying display grid, what you can do is this. We can say display flex. And then we're going to change the flex direction and set it into column reverse, which is going to bring the image first and then the text on the bottom. Okay. Now that is looking okay. So the problem is here. On tablet, we are still seeing the mobile image. That is a problem. That is a problem. And then even on large screens, we're not even seeing the correct image. Anyways, let me just check something. So this is the tablet. No, this is the desktop. So this is the tablet. See how the tablet view is supposed to be like stretched out for the image? And then nothing changes here much. Nothing changes here much. We just need to give it a background color because I did not get that background color. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go ahead and add a media query. Now I'm going to say that for a min width of 1024 pixels, then I want to get the hero section and then display it as a grid with grid tablet columns to repeat twice and one fractional column, which is going to place this side by side. So here and here. And then I'm going to say align item center, which is going to bring this downwards. And then we need to limit all this so that it doesn't go all the way to the end. And we can do that inside the hero section, but that is going to be a problem. And it is going to be a problem in the following way. So if I go inside the hero here, and then give this a max width of about 1280 pixels, what you're going to notice is this is going to be limited and it's going to look nice, right? And if I give it a margin of auto, then it's going to be centered properly. Now, the problem with this is the hero section needs to have a background color because look at this. It has a slight gray background color. So if I go ahead and say, give it a color of EC, 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 then we're going to have that gray color. But now look at this. It is now not extending to the end. That is the problem that we have. Now, in order to fix that, then we need to break our application a bit, where inside here, we're going to grab this div, this first div, all the way up to here, cut it out, and then place it inside another div. So place it inside another div and then paste it. And then inside this div, we're going to give it a class, and we're going to say maybe a class like overlay, for example, so that now I can go inside here and say that for the overlay class, then I want a background color of this. Just cut it out. And then you can remove this from here. And then you know what? Save it. And then what happens? Now this happens. Now the reason why this happens is because of display flex and display grid. So let's break this up a bit. We're going to grab, you know what? We're going to grab what? All these classes here. Just move them down. I'm moving it down by holding down the Alt key and then using the down arrow to move it down. So that now that happens. But we need, oh, you know what? I'm doing it wrongly. These classes, these two need to be here. And then the color needs to be here. So let's move it right there. So that now this extends. And then what we need to happen is here, this should now be accessing the overlay class. There we go. And then the heading also needs to have the same color. So let me check the heading. Let me check where's the overlay class here. So max width 1280 margin auto. So I can use this overlay class on the heading, and that will break it a bit once again, because what we need to do is we need to grab this part. So everything inside the header, cut it out, and then place it inside a div with a class of overlay, which is going to do that. And that is not what I wanted or what I expected, because inside the heading, inside the header element, we are using some kind of styles here. So what you need to do is, how did I do it on the bottom? I've already forgotten. So hero let me just do this. Let's say that we need what? Display flex Wait, the background color doesn't even apply. Wait a minute, the background color needs to be here. I can't think today. So EC in the background, there we go. And then why is this not applying? Let me disable this. Okay, that is a class of max width. This is a class of max width. Let me cut this out from here because it is a global state that we're going to be using. Let me place it here. So overlay max width and margin auto. Now what is this space? What is that space? Let me just check it out. What is this space? This is UL buttons. Oh, I set it to justify center. I set the UL buttons to justify center. So let me say flex end. We should bring it here. There we go. There we go. Now that's looking okay. And then now what we need to do is just display our navbar on large screens. Remember we set it to display none. So let me just copy this. And then on large screens, I can just go below this and change this to display block, which should now display our navbar, and it breaks everything. And so now what we need to do is we need to go inside the nav, the UL, and say display it as a flexbox, which is going to bring the links here, and then align item center to bring it down as just a bit, and then give it a gap of about 2 rem, just to separate them out, and then change the font weight to about 600. Make them just a bit bold, or you're not 500. Just a bit bold. Now, why is this here? It's because of flex end. Is it because of flex end? Let me just disable. Where is it? This. Let me disable this. Okay. So it aligns first to as a column. It aligns first as a column. I broke all this. I broke all that. Okay, let's move this because it doesn't seem to be helping. And then here above this, let's say that for the header, we're going to say display flex. Okay. Where did I have flex end? Flex end is on the buttons. Display flex. Why are the buttons behaving that way? First of all, why are they behaving like that? Let me go below this and say that below this, for the class of buttons, then I'm going to say justify content to center. Okay. I don't understand what's happening. I do not understand what's happening. The class of, I'm very sure it's the class of overlay that is breaking all this. Let me remove this from here. And then how does it look on mobile? Okay, now look at this. So on mobile, we don't need flex end on mobile. Where's the buttons? So here we need this to stay at the center on mobile. Okay, we don't need this on mobile. Oh, what is happening? What is happening? Okay, let's go step by step. So we need this, but now we need display flex on the heading. It doesn't work. Display none. Okay, so display flex on the heading, but this doesn't come here. Why? Oh, you know what? I just realized my mistake. It's because with the introduction of this div, now the flex item is only one inside the header. It's only one item. Oh my god. Okay, so let me say this is a class of header dash inner. Okay, so for the class of header inner, so let me remove this from here, and then I'm going to say that for the dot header dash inner, then display flex. Okay, and then align item center, and then justify content to space between, which is going to bring it there. Okay, now on larger screens this happens. Okay, on larger screens we expect this to happen. So what we need to do now is we're going to go inside, remove this, we don't need it anymore. We need this, we don't need this, but we need the class of header inner, dot header dash inner, and then actually not, Why does it even go there? Because we have not yet reset anything, because I have removed the class of overlay from the header. I've removed it. So the header inner should not be behaving. Okay, really? 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 Anyway, so this is the expected behavior, except that now we need this to be limited. So what we need to do now is this class, the header already has a background color right here. So we need to go inside the header inner, and I can do it right above here, and I can just give it a max width of 1280 pixels, which should limit all this. And then I'm going to say give it a margin of auto, which should bring it to the center. There we go. That took a way longer time than I expected. Let's save that, and then now let's begin to restyle this to be just a bit better. We need a gap here, so right here, we need a gap of about 4 rem. Increase this gap massively, and then we're going to say that for the hero h1, we're going to go, where is it, below this. We're going to say that for the hero h1, we're going to increase the font size to 4 rem, make it massively bigger. And then we're going to say that for the hero paragraph, as well as for the dot hero list items, meaning for this paragraph as well as for this list items, I want the text to be bigger. So I'm going to say font size, and then I'm going to make it about 1.25 rem, just to make it a bit bigger. Okay, that's ugly. Let's say 1.5 rem. I think we can do that. Maybe what we can do now is increase the spacing here, because the text is now bigger. So I'm going to say that for the hero ul, then the gap should be what, 2 rem. 2 rem is a bit big. Okay, how did I access it on top? It was the hero ul margin bottom, so I used margin bottom, not flex. So right here, let's say margin bottom changes to 2 rem. Oh, wait a minute, what am I doing? This is the hero li. So hero li, it should be, so hero li, sorry, it should be hero ul li, and that's too big. So let's say 1.5 or 1.25. Let's work with that. Okay, that is looking nice. Now we need to go ahead and move on swiftly. So we need to create this section next. So what I'm going to do is right below my section that is called hero, I'm going to create another section that is called images. And then below this, we're going to have a UL with how many list items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of them, and they're going to be images. So img. And then the source for this is /assets / the first one is what, Facebook. And then let's just copy this, paste it here and here and here and here. And then change this into, the second one is dribble. So dribble. Okay, don't do this. This is going to be issue. Let's change this to, what is it, YouTube. Change this to Pinterest, and then change this to Twitter. There we go. And then the alt attribute here can be Facebook logo, and then dribble logo, and then YouTube logo. YouTube is at capital T. And then this one can be Pinterest logo, and then this one can be Twitter logo, that we have some kind of information just in case these images fail to load. And then look at what we have on the screen, looking ugly. Let's see how it looks on mobile first of all, right here. So on mobile, only 3 of them show up. So what we're going to do therefore is this: we're going to go inside the UL with the class of images above our media query, and I'm going to say that for the images, first of all, we need, let me check something. How did I structure it? So for the images and then the UL inside. So for the images and then the UL, then I want to say display this as a flexbox, and then align item center and justify content to the center, and then give it a gap of about 2 rem. And then for the dot images ul li and then the image inside, I want to reduce the width of the images to about, let me say, about 120 pixels. How does that look? Okay, that looks okay for mobile. You can see how it looks on mobile. Let's give it a padding here on the image, on the images, on the parent. So for the dot slash images, for the dot images, sorry, not for the dot slash images, let's give it a padding of about 1.5 rem on the top and bottom and 1 rem on the left and right. So that actually that's a bit too small, maybe. Let's say 2 rem. 2 rem on the top and bottom, okay. And then what I want to do is, look at this. If I shrink this down, what you'll notice is these images, they kind of just become a bit smaller. Now, what I don't want this to happen. What I want to happen instead is on small devices, I want them to automatically wrap into the next line. So the way we do that is just by going here and saying flex wrap and setting it to wrap, so that when they reach the end of the screen, it automatically goes into the next line. And this is a much better UI, if I do say so myself. And that is that section complete, except that now I just want to increase the size of these images for larger screens. So I'm just going to copy this, and then below this, I'm going to increase this to about maybe 180. How does that look? Already much better. Nice. And you can see I was Googling how to use the picture tag. I've still not fixed this, by the way. I hope I remember to do that. Let's go ahead to the next section, which is share your money with escrow. Okay, so share your money with escrow. Okay, that looks fine. Now let's begin to build it out. So we're just going to go below this section called images, and then we're going to create a section with the class of escrow. And then below this, we're going to have an h2 that says secure your money with escrow. Below this, we're going to have some text. Oh my God, why don't they provide the text so they can just do a bit of copying and pasting? Let me type this out. So it says Spence uses escrow to secure the payments. We believe escrow offers the highest level of security, highest level of security for your payments, so you never need to worry about scams. And then below this, we have an anchor tag that says learn. It's a hashtag that says learn more about escrow. And then we have an image here. I don't know whether they provided it. Let me just check. So assets / it's called arrow. It's not here. It's not here. Okay, so if you don't have this image, what you can do is you can use an HTML entity called ampersand, and then this is a right arrow, so RARR, so right arrow, and then a semicolon. This will introduce the right arrow. So let's save that, and then let's check it out. We have this on the screen. See the right arrow right there? That's looking nice. And then below this, actually what we need to do is, let me grab this, place it inside a div, and then inside this div I'm going to have an article and then paste it in, and then I'm going to have another article which is going to be this image. Now the reason I've placed in this div is because I want to have some kind of padding or margin on this parent section, and then the div is going to have this color of this gray color. Now inside here, once again, I want to attempt to use the picture tag because it doesn't seem to work. So I'm going to say source media, and then I'm going to say that for min width of 768 pixels, then I want the ./assets / font, it's called font mockup, and then I want the tablet.png, and then below this I want to render the image of assets / font mockup mobile.png. Let me save that. Let's see what happens. What does show? So this is the, I don't know. Now this is the problem. I don't know whether the image is toggling or not. I don't know whether the image is toggling. Oh, you know what you can do is this. To test whether the image is toggling, then let me change this one to be hero image mobile. Okay, so the image is not toggling because we are on a larger screen, so we should be seeing this image. I'm sure when I find out the issue, I'm going to just laugh at myself. Anyways, let's begin to style this out. Let's go inside the class of escrow. So right above our media query, let me say that for the class of escrow, then you want a padding of about, what did I use here? 2 rem. So let me say a padding of 2 rem on the top and the bottom and 1 rem on the left and right. Push it inwards and downwards. And then inside with the class of escrow, I want to get the first div. And it's not even the first div, it is the only div. And I'm going to give it a background color of hashtag EC. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a padding of 1 rem all around with the border radius of 1 rem all around. And then we're going to have that, you know what, let me make this 1.5 rem. 1.5 rem. And then, you know what, I don't want the padding on the bottom because I want this image to always lie on the bottom. So I'm going to say 1 rem, 1.5 rem on the top, and on the top 1.5 rem on the left and right, and then 0 on the bottom. There we go. And then let's go ahead and get the H2. I think, did I use an H2? I used an H1. This is wrong. This is wrong. Don't do that. You should only ever have one H1 per page. So let's change this to an H2. And then let's say that for the escrow div H2, let's increase the font size to 2 rem. Make it even bigger. I think this is also 2 rem, but that's okay because this is an H2. Let's give it a margin bottom of 1 rem. And then let's say that for the escrow div and for the paragraph, I want the color to be hashtag 444. And then let's also give it a margin bottom of 1 rem to push away from the link. And then let's say for the escrow div anchor tag, I want the text decoration to be underlined. There we go, looking nice. And then this image is okay as it is, but it's a bit to the left. It's a bit to the left. So let me say that for the escrow div, and then I want to get the image. Then I want to display block and then add a margin of auto all around so that it is now centered properly. So that's not the correct one, it should be this one. Now it is centered properly. And then now on larger screens, what happens on larger screens? How does it look? Let's check it out. So it is this to the left and then this to the right. That's simple enough to do. So what we're going to do therefore is this. We're just going to go here. Actually, let me check how it looks on tablet first. Okay, so on tablet it just looks like this, so that's okay. And then on larger screens we want this. So on large screens we're just going to say that for art media we're going to say this is the class of escrow and then the div. So we're going to say that for the class of escrow and then the div inside. Then we want this to display as a grid with grid template columns to repeat twice and 1 fractional column, and then add a gap of about 4 rem to separate them out. And we're going to have this, and then we're going to say align item center, which is going to push it downwards. And then we're going to have that. Now we don't want this to go all the way to the end, so we want to add the max width that we had. So I'm going to say add a max width here of 1280 pixels, and then add a margin of auto, which is going to center it. And there we go. And then probably just increase the size of this H2 to make it a bit bigger. So I'm going to say that for the escrow div H2, I want to increase the font size to about 3 rem. There we go. Fantastic. Now let's go ahead and build the next section, which is this part, which is an image, and then this one. Now this section kind of looks like this one. Only difference is that the image comes first and then it doesn't have the background color. So let's do a bit of copying and pasting. So here we're going to copy this class of escrow. Yes, so copy it downwards. And then here we're going to change the image. And you know, let's just begin with changing the text first of all. So let's go to the mobile view so that we can change the text. And then the text comes first. So place it here, and then it says a text editor like no other. Is this the correct section? Yes. So a text editor like no other. And then this one says our text editor pulls you into focus mode with its in simplistic design. Editor pulls you into focus mode with its simplistic design and usability, so you can put out your best writings. So you can put out your best writings. And then below this, this text now says text editor live demo. And then this should now show the text editor.png, this one. So we don't need the picture tag for this part because it's only one image. This one should show text editor.png. And then when I save it, look what we have on the screen. Obviously it takes up these styles which we don't want. Now what we're going to do therefore is this. I'm going to add a custom class here called text editor. And using that class, the first thing that I'm going to do is right below this, in fact, I think the only thing that I need is just to change the background color to transparent. When I do that, nothing happened. Text editor transparent. Did it not reload? Okay, you know what? This class is not applying. Let me test something. If I set this to important. Okay, so this class is not applying. What if I remove this class? Okay, so it now applies. So I thought I could override this class with this one, but it doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to work for some reason. Let me remove this. If I change this to background color red. Oh, wait a minute. I did not just make that mistake. So this should say text editor div because the color applies on the div. See that? And then what we need to do now is right here, we can go below this and say that for the text editor div, then I want this to display as a flex box, and then the flex direction should go into row reverse, which means bring the image first and then the text second. Now we can see that the image kind of takes up more space than the text. We can fix that by going into the text editor div and then the article. The articles inside the div are the ones that have display flex on them. So you can say set them to flex 1, and that should make them take 50% of their container, which is the div, so that this happens. And that's looking much better. And then now all you need to do is just create this footer. And for the footer, we're going to do the following. We're going to go below this part. We are going to create the footer. And for the footer, I think I want to go outside of the main section. Let's create the footer. The footer is going to have a div with a logo. For this logo, I'm just going to use an H3 that says Spence. And then below this, we're going to have a paragraph that says Spence. Oh, you know what? This is the same paragraph as the first one. I just read it, and rather than retyping it, let me just copy this part, copy and paste it here. And then once we have that, we're going to create another div. So these divs are going to be the outlined as follows. They're going to have an H3 and then the links. So they're going to be an H3 here that says company, and then below this we're going to have a UL with how many list items for this first one, so li times 3, and then this can be anchor tags, but they're going to have hashtags because they're not going anywhere. And then this is about, and then customers, and then blog. And then I'm just going to copy this div, so copy and paste it 1, 2, and 3. So this second one says opportunities, and then it only has one item here that says jobs. And then this one says sitemap, and then it only has one item as well that says homepage. And then this one says resources, and then this one says support, and then contact, and then frequently asked questions. Now we can save that, and then what is going to happen is we're going to get a footer that looks ugly. So we're going to go inside our HTML, and then inside our CSS, sorry, and then above our media query, we're going to say that for the dot footer class, then we want a background color of black, which is 000, hashtag 000, and then give it a text color, come on, of white. And so we're going to have, oh sorry, it is the footer element. Did I give it a class of footer? What? I did not. Yeah, so it doesn't have a class of footer. Now, something else that I just realized we need to do is this. On large screens, the footer looks as follows. It is also limited. So what we're going to do is we're going to just restructure a bit before we get too far. We're going to grab everything inside the footer, cut it out, and place it inside the div with a class of footer-inner. So that now we can set the footer inner to be limited, but the background color is in the footer. So I can say that for the dot footer-inner. So for the footer inner, we're going to add our max width of 1280 pixels, and then have a margin of auto, which is going to limit all this that doesn't go to the end. And then on the footer element, we're going to have a padding of 2 rem on the top and bottom and 1 rem on the left and right. So that we're going to have that much better. And then now, how does it look on mobile? Let's set it to be that. Let's switch to the mobile. Really? Oh, is my mouse double clicking? So this is how the footer looks on mobile. Let's place it here so that you can actually style it. Let's see. Okay, then place it to the left, and then that can be here. So we're going to do this. I think this should be about 3 rem just to increase it for the footer. Okay, and then now I realize that the text inside here is a bit grayed out. The text is a bit grayed out. So let me say that for the footer-inner, I want to get the paragraphs, and then for the dot footer inner and the list items as well, and so not the list items but the list items and the anchor tags, I want the color to be hashtag 444, just to make them grayed out a bit. I think that is too much. Let's use 333. Sorry, we should be using a higher number, so 555. Yeah, we can use that. And then now let's begin to style this out. So I'm going to say this is a div with an h3. So I'm going to get all the h3s, right? So I'm going to say below this, for the dot footer inner h3, I want the margin bottom to be 1 rem. Separate them out massively. And then I want to get the parent of the divs, which is the footer inner, and then display all of these divs as a grid so that we can add an equal margin on all of them. And the way we do that is just by going here above this and setting this to display grid with the grid template columns to repeat once and 1 fractional column each, and then give them a gap of about 2 rem to separate them out. There we go. And then now, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I've structured this wrongly. I've structured this wrongly. I've just realized, because this is a grid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a grid. And then actually, how does it look on tablet? Yeah, would you look at that? This is an issue. This is an issue. This is an issue. So on tablet, this needs to align this one, and this one. Wait, how do we get it to look like that? Because logic would say I would have to create multiple elements. I would have to create multiple elements to get this structure. Okay, let's do this therefore. So everything from the company here, from the company all the way to resources, which ends here, I'm going to cut it out and place it inside a div with a class of footer dash info, and then place it inside. But we are going to need to do a bit of cheekiness, which you're going to see in a moment. So place this here and then place this, so this one. Now for this is called footer info. So I'm going to go below this and I'm going to say that for the dot footer info class, footer dash info, I want to display this as a grid. Sorry, display grid, but display grid with grid template columns and set repeat to 2 and 1 function column, so that now this comes here and here, and then add a gap of 2 rem so that it separates each of these out. And then for each of these list items, so I'm going to go inside the dot footer info and then grab the URLs, and I'm going to say display flex, which is going to do that. And then I'm going to change the flex direction to column. Oh, come on, flex direction to column. And then I'm going to say give it a gap of about 1 rem to separate them out. And then once we do that, then on medium screens, so right around here, on medium screens, we want this to display as 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5. So we need to add a media query here, and we're going to say at media for a min width of 768 pixels, which are tablets. Then for the dot footer dash inner class, you want the grid template columns to repeat twice or 3 times and 1 function column. Now this is not going to work. It's not going to work, right? Because inside the footer inner, we only have this div and this div as the only items. That means that we need to go and do some cheekiness, which I was talking about. And the cheekiness is going to be this. I'm going to copy this div and this div. Oh, you know what? Let's do this instead. Yeah, let's copy this entire div, which ends where do you end? Here. Let's copy this entire div, and then below it, okay, where do you end? Come on, below this div, I'm going to paste it in, but I'm going to give it a class of footer tablet. Now this is going to duplicate it, right? We don't want that to happen. So we're going to say above this, before the media query, I'm going to say that for the dot footer dash tablet, I want it to display none by default, meaning it's going to disappear, so that we're going to remain with this. But for larger screens, I'm going to say that for the dot footer tablet, then display this as a block. And then for the dot footer dash info, I want it to display none. See that logic? Do you see that logic? Meaning this one is only going to show on tablet side screens. Excuse me. And then this one is only going to show on mobile screens. Now let me see whether that is going to work, because I might be happy here and it doesn't work. So we need, oh, you know what? I'm doing this wrongly. Actually, I'm doing it wrongly, because it's still the same structure. I mean, what's wrong with it? It's still the same structure. Now what we need to do is this. I need to copy this class, and then I'm going to remove this div which ends here. So remove this div and then remove the first div, and then I'm going to paste that class here and here and here and here, and then save it, so that now the structure is going to restructure. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? So remember, the class of footer tablet only shows when the device screen is greater than 768 pixels, which are tablets, meaning these divs are only going to show above tablet side screens, and then the normal one is going to show for the mobile sides. And then what we need to do now is just copy this part, and then so this should not say 3. Oh wait, it says 3. It's 3. 3 correct is correct. Now we just need to paste it here, change this to 5, which is the number of our divs, and we have that for large screens. There we go. Now something that I have not fixed, and I don't know why it is not fixing, is these images. These images are not behaving like they should, and I don't understand why the picture tag is not working. The picture tag is not working. I didn't want to do it in CSS because it just introduces a bit of hassle every time with the media queries. But I think I might have to, oh wait a minute, I copied this from W3 Schools and I forgot to change it. So let me say 10 24 pixels for a mean width, and then this should say what, 768? Yes, 768. But it still doesn't show the correct image. This is so annoying. Okay, so you know what, let me just do this then. Let me do this. I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to render 3 images. Now the first image is going to have a class of desktop, and then the source is going to be assets, and then hero image desktop. And then we're going to copy this down 2 more times, and then this is going to be tablet, and then this is going to be mobile, and then the class is going to say tablet and then mobile. And then we're going to save this, and it's going to break our application, right? There we go. That's looking nice now that everything is broken. And then we're going to go inside our CSS, and then to begin with, which should be, it should be right, let me just go below the hero. I'm going to say that because we are building mobile first, right? So we don't want the desktop image and the tablet image to show. So here we're going to say display now, which is going to remove both of them. Now on mobile, this is the only one that is going to show. And then we're going to do something different on desktop. So let's just copy this, and then on tablet side screens to begin, right above this, I'm going to say that I don't want the desktop image to show, and I don't want the mobile image to show. But for the tablet image, because remember that it is displayed as none to begin with, so if I don't include it here, watch what happens. We don't have the tablet image. So we also need to say, we also need to reset it because we displayed it as none on top. So we need to say display block on here, or otherwise it's not going to show. So it shows the tablet image. And then we need to do something similar for the desktop. And for the desktop, we're just going to do it right above, below the hero here. Now for the desktop, we need the desktop to display as block, and then this one needs to be mobile and then tablet. So that now we're going to have the desktop image showing here, and then this is the mobile image, and then this is the tablet image. Wait a minute, did I not fix this? I didn't fix this part. The image needs to come first. Why didn't I fix that? Let's go ahead and fix it inside the hero. The hero is somewhere here. Oh, wait a minute, column reverse. Did I not do column reverse here? Hero overlay. I introduced that class. Dang it. Dot overlay. That should fix it. Okay. Dot overlay. Nothing breaks. There we go. You can see that now we have, wait. So this part right here is wrong because we are toggling the correct image at the wrong width. So we need to go ahead and fix that. So right around here, this shouldn't be here. Instead, we're going to create another media query. So instead of 1024, we're going to say at media and say for a min width of 1280 pixels. That's when you want these classes to apply. There we go. So wait, what Why is this so? Oh, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong. It's because I just changed. Okay, let me say Control Z to remove everything that I've just added. Okay, and then on the overlay, so it's because of this. That's why. That is why. So we need to do a few things. So if I say the hero overlay here, then we also go ahead and say hero overlay on our media query, which is right. I don't have it. Why not? It's because it's picking this up. Oh my god, where is it? Okay, here. It's because it's picking this up. That's what's happening. So if I save this, then this happens. And then now this part. Oh, what did I do to my CSS? What did I do? Let me remove this class. Let me remove this class, okay? Now, what did I do to my CSS to mess it up so badly? I messed it up so badly. Okay. Let's do this. So this is the div of overlay, and then the first div is this one, and then the second div is this one. So we need the div of overlay. Now, where am I using the class of overlay? The class of overlay is on this div, right? Is there another class of overlay? Let's say Control F to find it. It's only one. Okay. And here, where am I using the class of overlay? It's this second one. Okay, so here it is displaying as a grid 1024. Repeat twice. And then on top, it is what? It is a max width. I hate figuring this out. So we need, I need the hero, I need the class of hero, and then let me add a custom class called hero-inner. And then I'm just going to go inside here and add a class of hero-inner. Oh wait, that will have the same effect. Or will it? Yeah, it has the same effect. I just realized that it has the same effect, and that effect is only on large screens. So right here we need to go ahead and we need to change this up a bit. So if I disable this, what happens? Nothing happens, which means this part needs to be the hero-inner, or the, what they call it? What they call it here? Where is it? Hero-inner. Okay. Hero.hero and then hero-inner. Oh my god. Why so difficult? So difficult and so annoying. Oh my god. I hate this. I hate this. Okay, so the background color needs to be on the hero section. Now, the hero section has a max width applied to it, does it? The hero section, where are you? The hero-inner. Where is even the max width? Max width, scroll, max width. The hero doesn't even have a max width. What? Why are you even applying? This is so annoying. Why are you even applying? What is this section? This section doesn't have a name. Class of hero. Okay. Need to increase this. Now the class of hero is here. I hate this. I really hate this. I really hate this. Let's go inside hero-inner. Also not hero-inner, but inside hero. Let's say that for the class of hero, give it a background color of this. this one. Okay, I'm done trying to optimize everything. I am done. Let me deploy this to GitHub, and then let me also open Netlify. Let me also open Netlify and then close this and this. And then open up our terminal, Control J. We're going to add all that in, and then close this, and then add a new repository. And then the new repository is called, what is it? Spans landing dash page, and then create repository, and then copy this link, and then we're going to say git init to initialize an empty git repository, and then git add assets, and I'm going to git commit, oops, let it add. So git commit dash m, and I'm going to call this assets, and then git add design, and then git commit, and I'm going to call this design files, and then git add index.css, and git commit, and this is called let me just call it index.css, and then git add readme, index.html, and then git commit, and it's called index.html, and then git add readme.md, git commit dash m, and it's called readme, just like that. And then git remote add origin, and then paste in that link, and then git push dash u origin main, which is going to push it to GitHub. And then once it pushes, I can reload this, and we should be able to see it right there. Now let's go into Netlify. Let's create a new site from an existing project from GitHub, and it is called Spans landing page. So Spans, let me just search for that. It should be visible, because I don't think I have any other repository called that in my GitHub. And there we go. So let's just go ahead and say deploy site, and deploying, and then let's say site configuration. Let's change the site name here, TsbSankara spans dash landing dash page, and then save it, and then wait for it to finish deploying. There we go. So you can just click on this link, and we're going to have that. Would you look at that, looking fantastic. This margin is different. Oh, because I added a margin on this element or this component, so this margin is different from this one. We should probably fix that, but everything else does look okay. So that is going to be the end of the video. Oh, you know what, we can submit it. I just remember that you can submit it. So when you click on download challenge, you can say submit solution, and here I'm going to say spans landing page in HTML and CSS, and this should say mobile first, and then the GitHub repo is this one. So copy, paste, the site is this one, copy and paste, and they can just say submit solution. Write a description to showcase your solution, provide code snippets. Let me just copy this title because I can't think of anything. Then submit solution. There we go. So it should redirect us. Okay, yeah. And then redirecting. Come on, sometime today, please. Loading. There we go. So Spence landing page, and I have this one right there. So that's looking fantastic. Nice. So in the next video, I think we're just going to go ahead and do this landing page next, and then we're just going to work our way up. So thank you guys for watching. That is going to be the end of the video, and any like and share is appreciated because these videos take quite a bit of time and energy to create. And so if you enjoyed it, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.